Welcome back, Stoner Squad, and of course a big welcome to all those new to the channel. My name is DanIsStoned, and thank you for joining me today to continue our tutorial Crete campaign, where as Knossos I shall be trying to form the nation of Crete, and I'll be explaining everything that I see and find and everything that I do as I go along. Again, this campaign is designed for total beginners of the game, and hopefully you will find the information you need within this small mini-series, and hopefully the explanations of what everything does will help you in your very first campaign. So anyway, in the last episode I went through all of the kind of resources, all of the tabs and everything, so if you do want to go and check out, find out what the tabs do and what the different resources are, then do go and check out the first video before watching this. Now we're actually going to get right into the thick of the action and actually start our game. So the objective of this campaign will be to form Crete. As soon as Crete is formed and we have the whole island of Crete under our control, then I will stop it. Again, it's only a tutorial campaign aiming to explain everything and help you guys who are totally new to the game. So, in order to form Crete, we need a few things. So, if you want to see if you can form a nation, and depending where you're playing in the world, there are some formables, and to see what you need, just go on the nation overview and you'll see it's in the decisions. So here you'll see that we have the form Crete decision down here, and if you hover your mouse cursor over it, you will see what we need. Now here it says we need Gortina, Euryctina, Polarinia, and Knossos. Now Knossos we have because it's our capital, and now what we need to do is conquer the 3 remaining territories in order to form Crete. If we do this, we shall be able to enact this decision, and it is a tier 2 formable, which would give us a few little bonuses. Now, we'll change our name to Crete. We'll no longer be known as Knossos. We'll get a slight special flag, and what would happen is, till the end of the game, we'll get a 12% local citizen output and plus 0.15% pop growth. It would also issue an ultimatum to all Cretan nations with fewer than 4 provinces demanding their annexation. They're very likely to accept. So what this means is, if I essentially conquer the 3 territories needed, I would not really need to conquer the rest in order to form it, and what they would do, they would all swear allegiance to me and I would integrate them, and that would be that. The next thing it does give us is 2 free province investments, which is fairly nice, and we could use them to spend on increasing a load of things, like we could increase our trade routes, we could increase our building slots in cities and whatever, so there's a load of cool stuff. To see what the land you need to form Crete, just leave your mouse cursor on this for a moment and then just kind of take it off slowly, and then you'll see it will stay highlighted and you can actually see the different pieces of territory that you need, so it's quite easy then to see the land you need to form your formable. Again, there are different formables in the game depending on where you're playing, so just do check the decisions like over here and you can see the formable that you can do with the nation you are playing, if there are any. There's not always formables, but there are in a large majority of cases. Now, anyway, moving on. Now, the very first thing that I like to do in a game is to go through my important notifications up here, and I like to get these through one by one. Now, the first thing I like to do is assign my idea slots. Now, the idea slots, as stated, they give you bonuses depending on what you assign, and if you assign them correctly, if you kind of match the ideas, to the icons up here, then you get an overall bonus, and the overall bonus here we would get is national slave output. Now, before I assign my ideas and determine if I want to assign the corresponding slots, I kind of look for my overall bonus that I'll get for assigning, and if it would suit me. Now, in this case, it would be national slave output, which would give us plus 6% to slave output, which essentially means that they would produce more. Now, slaves in the game, they produce tax. Tax is a form of income, and if you want to see a guide on what your income is, then I have put a link in the description below to the Imperator Academy guide series, and you can go check that out. I explain all the economy in detail so you know what's what. So, before I take this, I do want to ask myself that, do I have enough slaves to make this overall bonus worthwhile? This is where you kind of check next here. You can see the pie chart of pops and just kind of see how many slaves you've got. Now, I have 5 slaves. Essentially, it's not a lot, but it does make up 21% of my population. Since I am a single city state, we don't have that many pops. We have a total of 23, and 5 of them are slaves. So they do kind of make up a good quarter of our pops. I also want to see how much we make from taxes, because slaves make you taxes, and I do want to see how much they make. So we make 2.09 from taxes at the moment. So we would increase our slave output slightly, and therefore increase the amount of taxes we would make here, thus increasing our income. So I think here it's worthwhile. Speaking about slave output, it just allows me to quickly talk to you guys about pops. Now, every territory in the game has pops, and they are 5 types of pops. Now here I'm going to quickly go through all of the different pop types. So, The first pop type we have is the lowest of the lowest, and these are the slaves, and these make up the bulk of your economy in the game. Slaves produce you tax. The more slaves you have, the more tax you will produce. So that's what slaves are. Up next you have tribesmen. Tribesmen, they're basically present in the non-civilized world. Since we are a civilized monarchy, we're not going to have any of these, and we're not going to really need to worry about them. Tribals provide a little bit of tax and a little bit of manpower, so they just kind of provide a tiny bit of both. It's nothing really major, and I don't think they're too good unless you really want to play as a tribe. Up next we have Freeman. Freeman provide you with manpower. Manpower, as I explained previously, is what you need to replenish the men in your cohorts, if you have any. If your men die, then you replenish them with that. So the more freemen you have, of course, the more manpower you'll make. They also provide a little bit of base tax, a teeny weeny bit, but they do provide a kind of bulk of manpower. That's what they provide the most of. Up then we have citizens. Citizens produce you a little bit of manpower and research points. Again, they provide more research points than they do manpower. And these are kind of important pops because research points conditions the speed at which you research tech. And then we have nobles, and these are the creme de la creme. These are the most noble and elite of your society, and they provide a lot of research points. And this is going to really help us with our tech. These nobles and citizen pops, they also provide something called trade routes, which is down here, and you can see, just hover your mouse cursor over this, and you can see nobles and citizens, they both produce 0.45 trade routes in this province, which then determines if we can get any extra trade routes. Now, at the moment, we only make 2 because our capital territory has something called trade permits, and you get this no matter where you're playing. Your capital has that +2, which give you +2 trade routes. If I was to increase this number up to 1, for example, I would get an extra trade route up here. So the more citizens and the more nobles I get, then the more trade routes I will potentially get. Anyway, that's about it for like a quick breakdown of pops. Now, for all the other pops apart from slaves, their output depends on their happiness. So the happier the pops are, the more they produce. So that's quite important to keep your pops happy. The only pop that isn't really affected like by happiness in terms of their output is the slaves. Slaves, happiness doesn't condition their output. The other pops, they do. The happier they are, the more they produce. So, for example, the happier my freemans are, the more manpower and the more base tax they'll produce. The happier my citizens, the more local manpower and research points they'll produce. And the happier my nobles, the more research points they will produce. So that's why it is important to keep your pops happy. If you want to see some extra info on your pops, just click on the View Pops info here, and you can see a load of stuff. You can see the culture, the religion, you can see how happy they are. You can hover the mouse cursor over the happiness to see what conditions their happiness, and whatnot. You can also see a load of stuff like the incoming migration, if you have any pops migrating from other territories, because of course migration doesn't just happen in your own lands, it happens from the surrounding area as well. So if pops want to migrate to you from other people's territory, they can. So that's quite important. You also see your pop growth. You can see if how quickly you're going to gain another pop. So depending on your kind of food output, your food supply, and a load of other factors, you have something called pop growth speed, and when this bar fills up to 100%, then you gain another pop. And here we would gain a Hellenic slave, and the growth is happening at a rate of 0.21% per month, and as soon as that bar hits 100%, we'd gain a slave. You can also see the different cultures of the said territory. You can see the different religion of the said territory. You can also see the pop ratios. This allows me to quickly go over you guys with the different ratios in cities and territories. So every territory in the game has something called a desired or an optimal ratio in the territory. Now, cities and settlements have a different optimal ratio. So how to explain this? I'm trying to kind of find my words as I'm trying to explain. It's not easy. But here for a city, you can see that we have 19% optimal ratio of nobles, which means what the game will do, it will promote pops to hit that kind of threshold of 19% from the pops that we have too many of. Like, for example, the citizens here, we have a 43% ratio of citizens in the city of Knossos. However, the optimal ratio is 26%. So what the game will do, it will demote pops from this category and then promote it will either promote them to nobles to kind of get more of these, or demote them to freemen to get more of these to kind of fill out the percentages. As you can see, we only have 4% of nobles. The optimal ratio is 19%. Same for freemen. We have 30% freemen, but the optimal ratio is 35. So what the game is going to do will either promote or demote to the desired pop. As you can see here, we're currently demoting the citizen till it will become a Freeman here. As you can see, it's demoting there, and it goes up by 3.24% per month. And as this bar hits 100, the pop, one citizen pop would have demoted into a Freeman. So that's how that works. So you do want to kind of check and pay attention to your ratios. These ratios can be increased through buildings, so do go and check them out. Now, let's get back to our first thing. So I was going to go for an idea slot, and since we have 21% of our pops are slaves, we are going to assign the correct ideas. So the first one I want is a military idea, and here we are going to go for probably martial ethos, because it does increase our morale of armies, which is going to be quite useful, because we do need to go to war in order to claim the land from Crete. So we shall take that. The next idea we're going to take is a civic idea, because we need one of these. Now, there are some pretty decent ones here, and the best to start off with is either the complex tariffs or tax farming. Now, it depends on what you make the most of. Complex tariffs gives you extra commerce income by plus 20%. Tax farming gives you extra slave output by 20%. Now, it all depends on how much you make in each. So just click on the economy here and you'll see how much we make. So taxes, we currently make 21.4%. No, sorry, 2.14%. And commerce, only 0.21%. Now, before I actually decide what I want to take here, I'm going to do some trade routes. Because depending on, like, the amount we're going to make from the overall trade routes, and I don't know at the moment, we can still have one slot. So we're going to actually go and pick one before I do this. So, actually, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Big, wrong. Forget that. I'm not, because if I go over here, you can see we only make 0.21 in commerce, and if I get another trade route, it's not going to go above the 2.14 for the local tax. So, we shall definitely go for a tax farming here, and this is going to stack nicely with our national slave output here. So essentially we're going to be making, when we fill out all the ideas, we'll be making an extra 26% to our national slave output. Still going to take that. The next thing I want is religious idea, and I think what I'm going to go for here is the loyalty of subject states. Why? Because if you guys remember, we have right click on your nation here, and we have a feudatory, and this is going to increase his loyalty. This feudatory is not loyal at the moment, and we are going to need this feudatory to help us in our wars. So we will take the aristocracy. Again, you are free to take whatever you want. Do take what you feel is the best. Really, just kind of look through the ones available and do take what you think is the best. Okay, now we've assigned our idea slots, we're going to go and do some trade routes. Now, you click on it here and it'll open up the trade tab. At the moment we're importing grain from Egypt. Just hover your mouse cursor over the trade routes here and you can see grain from Eastern Delta. Now we're going to try and import something, and hopefully import something of value, something that's going to be helpful to us. Now, we're going to have a look at our pops here. I'll just like right click or left click on my how to put it on my territory here, and we can see the pops, and I want to get something that's going to increase their happiness. As I said, the happier the pops, the more they output. I want to make my nobles more happier, so let's go for something that helps with nobles. Now, trade goods are divided into categories: strategic resources for military things, and food, well, for food to feed your provinces. Nobles for kind of increasing their happiness and output. Citizens for the citizens' happiness and output. Freemen for freeman happiness and output, and slaves and tradesmen for slave and tradesmen happiness and output. Now, here I would like to go for something that would help with our pop happiness, because the happier they are, the more they output. Again, feel free to really take what you think is best here. You just kind of like make sure you hover your mouse cursor over what everything is, and you can see what it gives you when you import. So for instance, if I were to import papyrus, it would give us local noble happiness plus 4%, and that means it would increase their happiness here by 4%. So instead of being 61.20%, it would, well no, that's the average. That's the average of your pops. Now, since we only have one, I'll just quickly show you here, click view pops info. We can see his overall happiness is 61%. If I was to import papyrus, it will increase his happiness by 4%. I'll just quickly show you. Now, we'll just import it, click that here. We'll import it from Egypt, and there we go. It's gone up by 4%, increased it to 65%, and it's going to increase his output, so he will be making more research points. I think it was 0.31 before I imported it. It's now 0.35. So that's why. Anyway, trade, it's kind of dead useful. It's a big breadwinner. It's like you progress in the game, the bigger you are, the more you will make from trade, so trade will become your primary source of income. Trade it's just important to really check what you want to import, because if you import, so you can import a good and get a direct bonus. So for example here for the papyrus I'm importing, it would give me a local noble happiness by plus 4%. If I were to import a surplus in the capital, now this means a surplus in the province capital. So the province capital, just click on your province map mode here. And here it is. So this is the province here. So it's the province of Crete. This is the province capital. So it's our province that is in the capital region. So the province of Crete in the capital region of Greece. If we were to import a surplus of a certain good into this province, so the province of Crete and the region of Greece, we would get an overall bonus. So if I were to at some point import an extra surplus of papyrus, it would give me the surplus in capital bonus, which you can see here is civic tech investment plus 5%. So you really do want to kind of check what the bonuses do. So I do invite you to go and like hover your mouse cursor over them and take your time to look at what you want to import, depending on what bonuses you can get. So do check that out. You'll see also there's a bag of gold next to each resource, and this determines the amount of gold you will make from importing the said resource. So here for papyrus, it's one of the most expensive ones in the game, so by importing it would make an extra 0.45 gold per month. To see this, just go to your trade section, which is down here somewhere. There it is. And you'll see this is how much we make. Now it is the base cost of, you'll see that I don't make 0.45 gold. It's just the base value of that good. And what it does is, I mean, how to explain this? I can't really explain how this exactly works. I don't want to overcomplicate things for you. But basically, the higher the value of the good, the more income you will get from it. So when you're importing, do pay attention to the value of the goods. So if you want to kind of have more money, then do prioritize high value goods. If you want something for a bonus, then you don't necessarily have to prioritize the value of the good, you just want to get it for the bonus. But here, I wanted the bonus and the value, so the added bonus of having extra noble happiness and it being more expensive. Now that is done, we've imported our good, which is going to be neat. Let's go for an omen. So here we can actually like kind of choose what omen I want. I would like to have something that would increase our happiness of our pops. Now, if I was to increase my Freeman happiness here by 6.3%, I could select this Blessing of Hermes, select it, and we would gain an extra 6.03 happiness to our Freeman pops. Now, our Freeman pops here are here, and we have an average happiness of, what's the average happiness? Average happiness is 69.02%, so that basically adds the happiness of all the Freemen here, so of all the 7, creates an average, and that's the average happiness. Now, if I click on the View Info Pops here, again, we can see the amount of Freeman. Here we go, so we have our Freeman here, so we have 6 Cretan Hellenic Freemen and 1 Carian Cybele Freeman. The Cretan Hellenic Freemen are very happy because they are of our culture group and of our religion. The Carian one is not, because he is basically not of our culture group or of our religion. So, what I want to do is improve I think the best one here to go for would be to improve the happiness of my Freemen, because again, the happier they are, the more manpower they'll get, and then the quicker we'll replenish our manpower. So that is pretty cool. I'm not going to change my Pantheon here because it costs me stability. It will cost us 15 stability to do so. I don't really want to do that. I want to save my stability for other things. So here I'm going to go for the National Freeman happiness. And now if I go over here, you shall see that, my Freemen should be a little bit happier. So we'll go down here. Now my Freemen that are of my culture and religion are happier, and same for the one that isn't. So that is that. Next thing I want to do is go for, probably go for a mission task here. Now, I advise you to choose your missions, so at the start, so click on this and you could select what missions you want. Here I'm going to choose a mission because generally what you have with the generic missions here, you have the option to get free claims. So you basically have a mission that goes the matter of Greece. If it was another region, it would be the matter of, I don't know, Asia, the matter of Macedonia, the matter of Thrace. And it gives you free claims in the region you're playing in, which is kind of useful. It saves us using political influence in order to fabricate a claim, which means I can use it for other things. So we're going to do consult the court here, and what will happen is in a year we'll gain claim on Crete, Cyclades, and the Shell. We'll just gain claims all over the place in the region of Greece. So it's just free claims. It is fairly useful, and over the course of a year we'll get the claims, which is quite nice. The next thing I want to do is definitely go for an invention. Now we have quite a few points to spend. Why is that? Because we have level 2 advances in each category here. For each category you gain, for each level you gain 1 innovation point. So for each category, here we have 2, 4, 6, 8. It gives us, that's the reason why we have 8 innovation points. Now, what to take? This is a good question, and it really does depend on what you want. And I do advise you taking the time to comb through everything and kind of check what different things you want to take. To be honest here, I honestly don't really know too much, so I'm very tempted to go towards something to do with economy to make a little bit more gold, so we can actually kind of build some more buildings, I suppose. I could go for some extra military stuff, to go for some extra discipline to help us in the upcoming wars, potentially, and that might be quite nice, actually. I might actually do that. I honestly don't really... I don't know. First, we'll go for some civic advances. We'll see if we can get some cool stuff. We're going to go for the import value, plus 5%. So as we're importing more goods, it will increase the value, or increase the gold we make from importing. So if I go here now to our trade, let me kind of remember where it is. Here it is. No, that's not trade, sorry. This is trade. You'll see we make 0.21% from the papyrus and 0.10 from the grain. We make more from the papyrus because it's got a base value of 0.45, and grain has a less base value, 0.20, so that's why papyrus makes more than grain. Again, it just depends on the base value of the good. Here, if I go for the import value plus 5%, it should increase the overall kind of money we make from importing each good. So now if I went over here, here it has, you see, we've gained a little bit of gold on each one. It's only 0.01 respectively, but it's a little bit extra, why not? The next thing I'm going to go for is property tax, and this is really super interesting, and it would help us increase our tax again by 2.5%. Basically, your tax again is how much your slaves make. So we'll take this. That's going to help us gain a little bit of extra gold, which is going to be quite nice. The next one I want to go for is the Logistics Bureau. This is a good one because it gives us an extra capital import route, so we're definitely going to take that. That's going to be quite nice. As you notice, as I'm spending buying inventions, we are spending innovation points. The next one I want maybe is... what do I want to go for? What do I want to go for? I could probably go for the build cost reduction, which is going to be nice. It would definitely help with reducing the cost of building buildings. But since we don't make a lot of money, I don't think building buildings is our priority at the moment. So I am going to go towards... I'll probably go towards maybe making some more gold. Maybe getting some more trade routes, I think, would be quite nice. River barges could be good. What else can I have? State harbour fees is quite nice. Room to water. Do I want extra import routes at the moment? Capital import route down here. This is national commerce income. Yeah, I'm not going to go for any of that there just yet. I think we've got enough of that on that side. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for the right to be heard. Now, this increases our citizen output. Again, output increase is the increase in the amount of resources that your pop produce. If you remember, citizens, they produce research points and a little bit of manpower. So this is going to help us increase that a little bit. So we'll take that. Of course, again, the more research points you have, the quicker you will go through the tech levels. Again, it's not just research points. It's a little bit more complicated than that. I am breaking it down to be a little bit more simple for you guys. But in essence, the speed at which you go through tech levels is based on the proportion of pops that you have that are noble and citizens in comparison to the rest. So the more nobles and citizens you have in proportion to the rest of your pop types, the quicker your research efficiency, and thus the quicker you will go through the levels. Also, research points do play a part, but it is essentially the amount of noble and citizen pops you have in proportion to... the other pop types. It's also worth noting that the noble and citizen pops, they have to be integrated. They have to be part of your integrated cultures. So if they're not integrated into the realm, then it doesn't matter if if they're not integrated into the realm, the noble and citizen pops that are of the culture that are not of the integrated cultures, then it won't count towards your research efficiency. It's worth noting that. Up next, I'm going to go for the rights of man here. That's going to increase our national slave output a little bit more. Again, that's going to help our gold flow, which is going to be quite nice. And I think that's going to be it for that section. The next thing we're going to go for is probably some military tech to help us with the upcoming war. Now, we do have some pretty neat stuff here, and I've got 3 points left, and that active drill is really nice, and it does give 5% discipline. Discipline increases the damage you do in combat, which is really nice, so we're probably going to go for that. So going for this, we're going to have to take military artisans. This is pretty neat because it does give us a free province investment as well, and I'll show you what I can do with that in a minute. So we'll take that. Then we're going to go for the basic training, would give us 5% starting experience for our troops. So that's basically when we kind of levy or recruit troops in our legions, they start with more experience. The more experience you have, I think experience reduces the damage you take in combat, or increases the damage you do in combat. I can't remember which one it does. It does one of the two, so that's what that does. So we'll take that. And then the next thing we're going to go for is active drill, which increases the discipline. Now you'll notice that I can't get any more stuff because I have no more innovation points. So as soon as we increase a level in one of the research categories, we'll get another point. Luckily enough, we have a decent research efficiency, which means it should go a bit quicker. Now, with the military artisans, I got an extra free, well, I got a free province investment, and this is where your province investments are. You can either increase your loyalty and for infrastructure capacity, you can either increase your plot capacity, increase trade routes, or local building slots. By far the best thing is entice business investments. By far. This gives you another trade route, so we're definitely going to do that, and it's free, by the way. You can see we got one free from the invention that we took. If you didn't have one free from the invention, it costs you 8 TPI that can be reduced with inventions. So this one's free, so we're going to take that. And over the course of like a couple of months, I think it's going to take about a year maybe. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit less than a year. And when this bar fills up, we'll get a free trade route. Now, we have another one to do since, of course, we did take some of innovations which would help us with this. And I'm going to try and import something, and I'm going to definitely import a surplus of papyrus just to show you guys what a surplus in the capital does and how it works. So click on that, and we'll get it from Egypt again. And now you'll see we have the benefit to the overall country, the civic tech investment plus 5%. This, if we now go into our tech section, and you'll see that our civic tech section has got 95% research speed instead of 90%. This is because the speed is increased due to the finesse stat of the guy that we have here. This guy has 9 finesse, increases it by 10% per finesse level. He's got 9 finesse, 90%, and then the surplus of papyrus increases that by 5% even more. And this basically increases the speed as well at which we gain research, at which we fill this research bar up. So as well as the amount of research points, the proportion of integrated nobles and cultures in the realm, and the speed of your researcher, all conditions the rate at which you go through the tech levels. So now that is done, I think we've pretty much gone through everything up here. We have some generals to assign to our navy, but I'm just going to kind of merge you guys together. I don't want to keep you split, so that's going to keep our navy there. And now if I go to the tech thing here, you'll see economy section here, you'll see that when I make a little bit more gold, 1.98, so that's kind of a lot better. And now that is done, I think we are pretty much ready to roll. So let's go, bim bam boom. So let's start the game. So now we're going to be ticking through. And what we need to do is definitely try to conquer as much as we can. Anyway, with the matter of Greece, so this is basically a scripted event here for the Diadokis here, where they're going to be fighting each other. This is not our problem. Oh no, it's not, sorry, I got mixed up. It's not a scripted event for the Diadoki at all. It is something completely different. So this is the mission event. So if you remember, we took a mission a while back, which was consult the court, and we can choose two options, whether we want to have a peaceful approach or a warlike approach. So we're going to go for the warlike approach here. We'll lose a bit of loyalty with this guy, who is currently our researcher, but I'm not bothered, so we'll definitely do that. We'll take the warlike approach. Just either way, you can choose which one you want. It depends on how you want to play. Just really, there's no right or wrong thing to do, especially when taking events. So if you really do what you want to do. So what do we have here? Let's take stock of the situation. You're not allied to anybody. You are. We're going to need to try and take people out bit by bit, considering that the biggest guy is Gortina. They have 2 territories, and they have an ally and a feudatory. We definitely need to kind of take out the weakest, so we're going to need to kind of move around and choose which one we want to strike against. Now, for example, if I declare war on you, I'm not going to do it yet. You'll see that our allies aren't going to join. Why? Because they're disloyal, and one doesn't have military access. That is the reason why. So, what we are going to do here is we are going to increase the opinion of our subject here, because in order for him to join our wars, he needs to have at least 33 loyalty. That is a threshold for loyalty for characters and for like your vassals. If he's below 33, then he won't join in your wars, which is a bit of a pain. So, what we're going to do here, we're going to go to here to we're going to right click on the nation. Excuse me. We'll right click on him. It opens up the diplomacy tab. And here you have a load of different options. Alliance options allows you to kind of propose alliances, offer guarantees if you're big enough, invite to form defensive leagues. Access is for military access, so you can move your troops through and out of his country. Influence actions, you can like kind of integrate your feudatories if they have good enough opinion of you. You can cancel them. You can also intervene in wars if you're big enough, enforce peace, threaten wars, sell territories. Covert Actions is the one we want here, and this is in order to... no, it's not the one we want. I'm speaking out of my butthole again. Covert Actions allows you to fabricate claims on territories, so when you declare war, you need a casus belli. If you declare war without a casus belli, you take big stability to your aggressive expansion, to your stability. So you do want to have claims before you declare wars, and relation actions are for relations with other like nations. You can improve their opinion over time. You can send them an insult, or you can send a gift. We're going to improve this guy's opinion over time. It costs us 25 gold when we do this action. The cost is on the right here. You can see, so it's going to cost us 25 gold to improve the opinion of our vassal. I want to improve their opinion so they can join the war with us. Now, before we go to war, there's another thing I do want to do. And I want to go to my laws. So we're going to go to the government section here, and we'll go to the laws, and here you can change a load of stuff. And what I want to do is I want to go for military service. Why? Because it increases the levy size multiplier, which would increase the amount of men we can raise. Now, if you go here, if you go to our military, we have our levies, and we only have 3 archers and 1 heavy infantry. I'm hoping, by changing this law to the military service here, we could increase our levy size and get some more men. It does also increase our integrated culture happiness, which would, if you go to the culture here, and you can see the integrated culture here, it would increase their happiness by 5%, which means they would output more, because they would be happier, because it increases the overall happiness of your pops of this culture. This will be quite useful because at the moment we don't really have any other pop types apart from 1 carrion pop, so we don't really care about losing any of the other pops like unintegrated culture happiness because we don't have that many. So we're going to definitely go for this. It's going to cost us 35 political influence and 15 stability, but it's definitely worth it, and hopefully we could get a little bit more men out of it. So you'll notice my stability has dropped by 15. And now if I go over here, we should be able to... Yep, we got an extra unit out of it. So now instead of having 4 units, we have 5. So that is still extra 500 men. It is still useful. And you will see why pretty soon, because sometimes the AI has level 2 forts in some areas. And level 2 forts are a bit of a pain, because what happens is you need 2,000 men to siege down a fort per fort level. If you increased it to a level 2 fort, it would mean 4,000 men. If I only had 4,000 levies, then I would not be able to take a level 2 Fortress 1 because my men will suffer attrition, and as soon as we went below the 4,000 men needed to siege, then the siege progress would stop. That is the reason why I've taken that, and of course you can see the levy size multiplier is increased here by 10% with the military service. That is fairly nice and cool. So, let's keep rolling. There's not really much we can do at the moment. We're just basically trying to kind of chill and kind of wait for the right time we can strike. So we need the claims in order to do so. Hopefully you're not going to ally anybody. Oh, you allied Lictos, actually. Which is interesting. So can I get any buddies here? So, these 2 are allied together. And they could be a viable option to take out. Now, when you do go to war with people, I do advise you to kind of look around for seeing who is allied with who, and take on the ones with the least amount of friends. It does make things that a little bit easier. So, what am I going to do? These 2 have offered me alliances. I don't want to be friends with you because, yeah, I want to kill you. Well, actually, I could probably use these guys to take down the... Yeah, I could use them to take down the western side of the island. Now, since these guys are only allied with them, I reckon an alliance with you would allow me to take these guys down. Especially both of them, because I could call them in, you see. So let's have a look. How many diplomatic relationship slots do I have? Now, for that, you just click on your diplomacy, and you can see by this flag here, and you can have a certain amount of diplomatic relationship slots. If you go over the limit, you make less political influence per month, so it's quite important to see if you have enough or not. Here we have 2 slots available, so I can definitely go for the alliance, which we shall definitely take. So we'll pop this, and we'll take that there, bim, bam, boom. So now I've got 2 alliances with these guys. Apparently one's going to break it though, because I'm allied to I'm allied to the guy he wants to attack. So you want to probably attack Arcademies, so that's why he's going to break it. Now I've got this guy allied. What would happen if I declared war? They wouldn't join because they don't have military access. That is the problem. That's going to be a little bit of a pain. I could probably give them military access once we fight the war, and then... Would you accept military access if I gave you? I know, because they're planning my demise. Okay, that's interesting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dissolve the alliance with Lictos here. Oh yeah, by the way, a neat little tip. If you want to see if someone's planning to attack you, right-click on the nation and hover your mouse cursor over Alliance or anything else, and you'll see a modifier. And if you see planning your demise, then you know he's going to try and kill you. Now this guy here, he is planning my demise, Lictos. So we're going to dissolve this alliance here quickly. So you offered it, and we're now going to break it. So yeah, we hover over the alliance thing, and you can see planning your demise. So this guy is definitely planning to kill me. Luckily enough, I have quite a few alliances, so if he wants to strike me, then he can try and do that. I really don't care. Anyway, sounding out the opposition, this is again the mission that we've got to try and get free claims over Greece. So we're going to take a warlike approach. Actually, no, I'm going to take a peaceful approach here. We'll improve the opinion of all the others around us. Yeah, we'll improve the opinion of some of the others, and it could potentially help us bring them into our war. This guy's definitely going to attack me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my levies in kind of anticipation. Because when you raise them, they don't start off with full morale. And if he attacked me before I raised them, he could probably just land on my kind of capital here and stop me from raising my levies. So I'm going to raise them here for a little while and wait to see what this guy does. If he attacks me, then great. If he attacks me, he's going to bring in Petra. Actually, he's going to bring in these guys. So what I might do is see if I can get an alliance with someone else. Maybe. Get an alliance with this guy down here. And that could potentially help us. But again, I don't think I need one. I'm fairly confident that I can beat him back. So we're just going to leave it like that for the moment. By the way, when you raise your levies, you lose a little bit of base tax. You lose a bit of gold per month, a little bit of manpower per month. And you also, not manpower per month, you lose a bit of overall manpower here. And you lose some research points per month. So it's important. Which makes sense because when you're raising levies, you raise them from a territory. And of course, you're pulling pops out to be in your levies. And of course, if pops are out of your kind of territory and in your armies, they can't produce any tax, manpower, or research points. So it does kind of make sense. So that's that. Anyway, let's keep going forward. Hopefully this guy is going to attack me, and we can probably do something about it. Now, is he still planning my demise? He is planning my demise, so I've got a feeling the attack will come pretty soon. War in Greece, so it's an event for the Diadochi Wars, so Macedon is at war with the Antigone Kingdom. Whatever, buddy, that is, like, not my problem. You can do that all you like. Are you still playing my demise? Yeah, he's definitely going to attack me. I know he is. And hopefully he will, because it would actually turn out to be a good thing for us, because I could take these three out in one go, which would be quite nice. Are you still doing it? Oh no, he's not planning my demise anymore. Okay. What about you? Okay, this is good. Now, Lictos is definitely going to be my first victim here, and it's going to be fairly easy to do so. I have a truce with this guy. Actually, that's a bit of a problem. I have a truce with this guy. How long does this truce last for? If you want to see a truce, just right-click on the nation, and you can see, like, or right-click on your nation, sorry, and you can see in, like, this here where the truce is, you can see how long it lasts. It's going to last for quite a while, actually. It's going to last for... Yeah, it is going to last for about 6 years, so we might have to focus our efforts on the other side. So here, I might take out Kydonia. It's going to be fair. These guys are going to be fairly easy to take out, so I think we'll go around this side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull you fellas here, and actually no, I'll leave you there for the moment, and then I'll pull them over to the border here to deal with this guy after. I think I might also send a quick gift here to my vassal, just to improve his opinion of us. So I'll pay 5 gold, and it would improve his opinion by 25, and that should get him above the amount needed. Is it going to work at the end of the month, maybe? No, it hasn't. He's at 24 now. So, he needs to be at 33 so I can pull him into wars, and I can't at the moment. That's going to be a little bit of an annoyance. So we'll wait. We'll keep waiting a little bit. That's fine. Now we have another capital route that's an import route that's been made. That is because we finished our province improvement here. So we did this, if you guys remember. So we just finished it off. 1st of April it was finished. So now we have another trade route. So I'm going to import something else here. However, what do I want to import? Again, just kind of look around and just see what you want. I'm going to have a look at some of the bonuses. That's local noble happiness. Local noble happiness here. I think we could probably go for some gemstones. That increases local citizen happiness since it's a high value trade good. And we'll get that from Egypt. So that's going to increase our cash flow a little bit more. And increases also our local citizen happiness. So, of course, now our citizens are happier again. And, of course, happier citizens output more, which is going to be quite nice. How come I have gone down so much in research efficiency? That is insane. I've gone really low down now. I think it's because, of course, I have low stability, and of course it's affecting my pop happiness. Now, as I said before in the first video, when you go under 50, you have a little bit of like negative effects, and of course the big hit is your pop happiness. It's gone down by 14%, so that is probably the reason why I am making less research. But anyway, it doesn't matter, let's keep rolling. All commercial ventures, so again, these are just your queued events here. This is where like little random events pop up and you can see what happens. So this is just letting me know that I finished my province investment here, so that's what that is. We'll quickly check our mission here and we'll see how long it's going. So we still have about 6 months to go before we can do anything, before we get the free claims. Now, Gortina wants an alliance. I could use these guys, to be honest, against each other. I mean, it would work. Who are you allied with? You're allied with a few others. Do I want to ally Gortina? I don't think I do. Not yet, anyway. No, I don't want to ally them because they're my rivals, so I'm not going to ally these guys. I don't really need to, so we'll leave them like that. Don't want to ally you fellas. Not going to work. No way, Jose. Now, we did say that our guy here doesn't want to join because he's not very loyal. Now, this is where I'm going to show you guys a little trick. Now, I said I wanted the little bonus here for the slave output, right? I make enough gold. I don't think the 6% here is going to change much, but what there is something pretty decent. Oh, no, I've already got it. Crap. I thought I didn't. I thought I didn't take the loyalty of subject states, but I have. My bad. So it already increased his loyalty. I didn't think I had that. Anyway, it's going to increase over time per month, and hopefully by the time the mission is finished, where we get the free claims, his loyalty should be at 33, and we should be able to strike him down. Now, what's his fort level? Fort level 1 still, so that is fine. We're going to up the game speed a little bit here because, of course, not much is going on, so it's pointless keeping it like that. Of course, I know why, sorry, I'm not making enough research points. I've levied my soldiers, and of course that's reducing the amount of research points I'm making. So we get these guys down, and you can just disband them, just stand them down, and you'll see, now that's gone away. You'll notice that I can't raise them for another 4 months, but you'll notice now if I go to my tech, the speed has gone back up to 107% now. So, there we go. That's that. Where are we at now on this? Very close, another couple of months, and then we can take this guy on. Again, he's only got one ally. I can easily smash this guy. Yeah, Petra want to be my buddy, but no, I don't want any more friends. Sorry, I need to get ready to strike the others down, and we shall do fairly soon. Now, I've got a little bit of cash. Could I probably do something here? We might be able to probably build a building. I don't know. It would be nice. I could probably go for something to help increase our noble happiness, which would be nice. And this is the Academy. This Academy is pretty cool. It increases noble happiness by 4%, so they'll output more. And it also increases the desired ratio by 5%. So this is what I was talking about before, where you have kind of desired ratios in cities. So if I build this and I'm going to go here to my city view pops, it would increase the desired ratio by 5%. So instead of being 19%, it will be 24%. And then the game will start promoting other, promoting other pops from the other categories that we have too many of, into enough nobles to hit 24%. So we're definitely going to build that. I do like building academies. They're quite useful, to be honest. So we'll go for one here. That's quite nice. It cost us all of our gold, though, for the moment. They're quite expensive, but it doesn't matter. We don't need the extra cash for the moment. We might as well kind of spend it and get it on building things instead of wasting it. Anyway, Ptolemaeus the First Sotalagid stirs. So basically now the Antigonid is at war with Egypt. We'll let these guys, like, dunk it out together. It's not my problem. I don't care. The mission is nearly done. 1st of October, and it's done, so the court speaks. So now we gain a small olive branch. So what happens is we've got extra diplomatic reputation. This is super useful because diplomatic reputation not only increases the opinion that other people have of you, it also increases the integration speed of your subjects. So if you wanted to integrate anyone, then of course it would increase the speed at which you're going to integrate them into your realm. It also increases our improved opinion maximum, so as we're improving opinion, like with other people, like we're doing with our vassal here, it will increase the maximum amount we can improve. But what it does, though, it gives a little negative thing here, like plus 5% war score costs, which means it would cost more to take land in a war. I'll show you that when we are at war with someone. So now we've got that. This guy is really not happy. Oh, of course, he's not happy now because... God, I've got another thing to explain. I've got loads of stuff to explain. I'm trying to be as clear as possible and explain as much stuff as I go along. I'm probably going to miss some stuff, but I hope you guys kind of bear with me, because I can't explain everything. I am going to forget some stuff. So what I'm going to do here, why this has gone down to 10 instead of 25 that it was before. Now we have minus 40 relative power to Overlord. This is because I have no men raised or levied. If I levied my soldiers up, I would have a lot more power compared to him because he hasn't levied any soldiers, and that will increase his happiness and get rid of that -40 probably pretty quickly. So I'll show you guys as soon as I raise them for a war. You will see that he will. This guy will. I'll have his opinion side will increase, and I'll show you guys that after. Here, this allows me to change my diplomacy stance, talk about this a little bit quickly. Now, I'm currently on the neutral stance, which gives us an extra diplo relations slot. I'm using 2 out of 3. I don't need the surplus, so what I'm going to do here, we're going to change this, and we're going to go for something pretty good. So what I'm going to go for is go for the domineering stance, and this is really useful. This allows me to increase my loyalty of my subjects by 10. So he's going to get him up to 20 loyalty instead of 10, so I'll quickly change it. Bim, bam, boom. And now he's up to 20. Now when I raise my levies, I'm sure that I can bring this guy into my war. And I'm sure that he's going to help us take this guy down. Now he's allied with this guy on his own. No one's really befriending him. And I think we can definitely get the war ready and going. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to raise my levies. Oh, I can't. I need to wait for the 10th of October. It's quite close, so it's not going to be long now. Oh, no, the 19th of October, sorry, there we go. So on the 19th of October, I'm going to raise my levies. Again, we're going to lose we're going to lose some gold income, we're going to lose some we're going to lose some research points, which is going to affect our research ratio, but I'm not bothered. Now we've raised them, this guy should be a lot more happier at the end of the month, so we shall see at the end of the month how happy he is. I'm going to move these guys into the border here to get them ready to declare war on this guy as quickly as possible. We're going to move you fellas in, there we go, and now he should be happier with me. Let's check this out. Yes, there we go, 35%. Now he's loyal, and if I declare war on you, he's going to join. And that's how it works. And now we have more than enough to deal with this guy, and we're going to absolutely smash him to smithereens. He has only 1 ally. He has no allies now. So it's going to be even easier. He broke his alliance with Kydonia. So we're going to take this guy out, and the western side here is a lot easier to take than this because these guys have a load of alliances between them and a couple of defensive leagues as well. So in order to grow our power and influence, we're going to go to war against you. So this is a good opportunity to show you guys how to fight. To declare war on a nation, right click, declare war, bim bam boom, and then you have the war goals. First one shows superiority. It's just basically showing you've got big naval balls if you wish, and you get it's basically just kind of show him that you have a bigger navy. You get war score by winning naval battles and if you blockade ports. You don't receive a ticking war score. You also have show superiority. Okay, and this is to win land battles, and of course the more land battles you win, the more war score you get. You don't get any ticking war score, only if you go above, like, if you get more than 10 war score from battles. And then you have, of course, take whatever, like, provinces or whatever provinces you have a claim on. We have a claim on Crete, because we got the mission that we did here. I don't know if you guys remembered. Down here we got the mission, consult the court, which gives us a load of free claims. That's how we got that. If you didn't have, like, that mission or didn't use that mission, in order to make a claim, just go right-click and go down to Covert Actions, fabricate a claim, and at the cost of 20 PI, you will fabricate a claim over time, and as soon as it hits 100%, you will get the claim. Right, let's go. Excuse me. So we're going to bring in our buddies here. I'll bring in them both, just because I can. It's always going to be useful, and we're going to take Crete. Bim, bam, and bloody boom. Now at war, and you've noticed that I've stashed my troops on the border with my vassal here. Now this is useful because it allows me to quickly move here, and I should be able to catch him and, like, kind of occupy his lands before he raises his levies. If he raises his levies, I'm going to smash them before they have a chance to gain full morale. So let's do this. So bim, bam, bloody boom. So what's going to happen now? We're going to go on here and move there. The Treasury of Timoleon Agid, here, I'm not going to read these. If you want to read them, do pause them. I'm not really going to go through the events, because it's just kind of me explaining what I'm doing as I'm going along, and trying to explain how all the different mechanics work. So here, what I'm going to go for, I can either go for legitimacy, popularity, or loyalty, or we can gain a bit of tyranny, gain a bit of gold, and lose a bit of loyalty with Timoleon Agid, which is my epistrategos. Now, I think I'm going to go for... I'm going to take the little legitimacy hit and the popularity hit and the loyalty hit with the guy here, because the second one loses us more loyalty with this guy, and this guy's got a big power base. Now, what is power base? Power base is the degree of how powerful a guy is in your realm. If a big enough portion of your power base is disloyal, which means the character has lower than 33 loyalty, if you guys remember, the threshold for loyalty in the game is 33, then they have a potential to start a civil war, and if a civil war fires, then your whole nation rises up in rebellion, and basically you have a big civil war. So I don't want this guy to be peed off, because he's got a big power base, so hopefully he'll quiet down. I'm going to lose a bit of legitimacy up here, so it's a little bit of a problem. But we can always gain it back up, and the reason we're losing it here is because we have negative stability. Ruler is unpopular, but that will be changed. When we win the war, we will gain popularity. So hopefully we'll quiet down in time. So now I've got over here, we'll go on this dude, and there we go. So I've got on his land before he could raise his levies, which means we're not going to lose any men, which means we're not going to lose any manpower from battles, which is good. Because manpower is precious. You do want to kind of stockpile as much as you can and limit the losses, because as a small nation, it is incredibly difficult in order to replenish your manpower. So treat manpower with your life. It is really easy to lose, but incredibly slow to gain when you're small. So anyway, now we're sieging this territory down. So what happens with the siege here is that you have a timer. This timer is going to tick around, okay, and when it reaches the end, something will happen depending on a variety of factors, depending on the dice roll, and what will happen is this percentage here will go down and down towards 0, and they'll go up towards 0, and then the more percentage you have of taking it, then the better the chance at the end of the siege phase timer of you occupying the land. Now, a lot of factors can determine how long it takes. The garrison size, the fort defense can determine how long it takes, the fort level as well. You also have if the place has a port that is not blockaded, and a lot of other stuff. So at the moment, this guy's not got a port, and he has a fort level which gives us -1 to the progress. So basically, whatever dice roll I have, it gives it -1. Each siege phase, we roll a dice, and depending on the dice, on the number that you roll, it kind of... God, it's really tricky to explain this. Depending on the number you roll, then the better the event, or the better the kind of siege phase. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if it did. So here, in 13 days, you'll see that we'll have another siege phase. It came up, boom, and what happened? We got a supply shortage. It got this down to -14%. And of course, as... God, this is really hard to explain. It's really, really tricky. A call to arms from Knossos, who declared war. Oh, God. Now, these guys declared war. It's a war they've started. Cortina Road. Yeah, I'm not joining that war. That is not going to happen. He's going to fight it out on his own. I don't care. I don't need him anymore. I don't want to get dragged into a two-front war. So, in simple terms, sieging down, basically you just have to wait on to this until you occupy it, until this percentage goes up into the positives, and then once it's in the positives, the higher the positive number, the more chance you have of taking the territory. Seleucid invasion. So the Seleucids have joined the war against the Antigonids. They're over there, but that again is not my problem. It really isn't. Who is the siege leader? I am the siege leader on this, I think. Yep, I am, which is good. I don't know why Gortina joined this war. They're probably trying to occupy it for themselves, but it's too late. I'm in here, so whatever. So now we have 7% chance of taking this, which is a slim chance of occupying it, but we can. If it's in the negatives, you will not be able to take it. So we'll vassal for a ducat. So this is an event where we can choose if we can request some gold from our vassal. They would lose 30 opinion of us, which I don't really want to do, to be honest, because then I won't be able to call them in future wars. So I'm not going to do this, because their loyalty is pretty shaky. I don't want them to lose 30 opinion, and that's going to get their loyalty down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for funding elsewhere. I'll lose a bit of popularity, I'll lose more legitimacy, but oh well, it is what it is. Which means, of course, my Freeman happiness is going to go down, as well as my primary heir attraction. Anyway, with 21%, hopefully I have a better chance now of taking it. I have seen them fall at 21%. 7% I have as well, but it's incredibly rare, I have to say. Nope, defended desert. So again, now we wait until we occupy it. Please, please fall. And then we're just going to leave these guys to dunk it out over there. It's not my issue. 35%, so now we've got it. So now it's occupied, and it is occupied by us. Of course, if our kind of vassal occupied this, he would transfer control to us. We've now got the war won. We're at 100% war score because we occupy everything that the land, that the kind of guy has. Once you occupy all of the guy's land, and he doesn't occupy any of yours, you can peace out no matter what. The higher the war score, the more you can take in a peace deal, pretty much. So now we're going to super peace. Take Lapton and Crete for us. We gain 1 aggressive expansion, which is going to add it up here, and it costs 19 war score. You cannot go above 100 war score. If you go above 100 war score, you can't do a peace deal. It has to be below 100 war score. Like taking more territory increases your war score. The amount it costs in terms of war score depends on if you have a claim on the land. It depends on the number of pops in there as well. So there's a lot of factors that are taken into account. So we're going to peace out for that pretty well. Lap and Crete is ceded to us, and it increases our rank to a local power. Now this, you'll see, as stated in the first episode, you see we're a city-state because we have 1 territory. Once we have anything ranging from 2 to 24 territories, we increase to a local power, which is going to give us a load of extra stuff. Local power we are now. So being a local power gives us a reduction in build costs, so buildings will be cheaper. It increases the happiness of integrated culture happiness, so since our Cretan pops are integrated culture, it's going to increase their happiness. It increases the integration speed, so if I wanted to integrate my vassal here, for example, it would increase the speed at which we would be able to integrate it. It does increase our wages for characters, so the amount of gold we pay people in government and in positions of power is increased. It increases our Diplo relationship slot, so we can have like another Diplo relation, which is another ally. It reduces Merc army maintenance, so if we're hiring Mercs, it would reduce the amount they cost. And diplomatic range, it would increase the amount of people we can interact with, because your Diplo range is the distance to which you can interact with people. The higher your Diplo range, then of course the more nations, or the further away you can interact with nations. So that's pretty cool, that's quite nice, and now as you can see we occupy this for ourselves, which is pretty cool. When you occupy totally a country, you have a couple of options to do with them, but you need to occupy everything and wipe them off the map. You can either kill them all and you gain a bit of popularity, you can either banish them and you lose a bit of growth expansion, you can imprison the leaders and they're imprisoned in your realm, but you lose a bit of popularity, or you can pass judgment on the families. Now, the advice I give you on this is if you're conquering people of the same culture or culture group as you, so the same culture as being Crete, of the Hellenistic culture group, so all of the things in blue here are part of the wider Hellenistic culture group, and our pops are Cretan. Anything that belongs to the same culture group, you bring them in. Pass judgment on the families, which would allow you then to welcome them into the nation. So these guys, when you welcome them all in, they will become characters in our realm. Why do you want to do this? Just because as you go through the game, you're going to run out of decent characters. It's important to get as many characters as you can, because you need them for your researchers, for your governors, for your commander of your armies, and for a load of other things. So really do bring in the characters that are of the same culture group. Now you'll see that when you first bring them in, they're not going to have much loyalty, because you can see this guy here, Academies, Aristodemid. We brought him in, but he's got 31 loyalty because his home country in ruins. It's a modifier when you totally wipe out a nation off the map and you bring them into your realm. It basically reduces their loyalty for a little amount of time. It will go away at some point, but that's why they are pretty peed off for the moment. Anyway, now that is done, we are not going to stop here. We are definitely going to chain the walls. So you are a feudatory to Gortina, so I can't declare war on you yet. However, this guy we can, and then this guy I might be able to as well, which is going to be fairly useful. So the next guy we're going to take out is this guy. We'll take out Kydonia. Again, I have a claim on this guy because of the mission that we did, and it gave us a free claim. So we're definitely going to take out him, and then we'll probably try and take out someone else afterwards. Anyway, I'm going to take a break in the episode for this one here because, of course, my mouth is incredibly dry from speaking and trying to think on my feet. I hope this series is helping you if you're totally new to the game. I really do. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments. I also forgot to tell you, but I have a Discord server, so if you want to go and join the Discord server, the link will be in the description below. If you come in there, there is a category, Ask a Stoner. Ask any question you've got, and either me or any one of the Discord members who kind of know the answer to your question will answer you. There's not many of us in there, but they are great guys and they will help you if you have any questions at all. But anyway, again, thank you so much for joining me. Of course, if you enjoyed this and if it's helping you, please don't hesitate to hit the like button down below. And if you want to see more stuff just like this, then of course don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button. But anyway, with that said and done, thank you for being here, and I'll hopefully catch you on to the next one so we can continue the small tutorial campaign. Bye for now.